Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm Blue Badge Crypto, bringing you another Bitcoin and market update. But listen, if you're not already on the Twitter, get over there at Blue Badge Crypto. That's where you're going to get the most time-sensitive alerts on trends, trading, and analysis in the market. Let's dive into Bitcoin, guys. We're here on the 1 hour chart. If you've been following the updates or the Twitter, you know what we're looking at here. If you're new to the updates, zoom out just a little bit here and see what the price action we have going on. We'll pull it out to the 4 hour chart here. We've been trading this price action extremely well. We've now come up. We've moved through our channel. When we're down here, we're talking about dumping. When we're over here, we're talking about pumping. We're able to identify some bullish divergences here to know that we were pumping. And then on the 7th here, we recognize this potential max pain scenario where we had this last move up here before falling back down. And now we're kind of creating this ascending triangle that I've been updating on Twitter. We kind of had a horizontal triangle coming right here where we had a trend line coming here, and we kind of had this bottom coming up. So we had another triangle formation. We've now broken out of that for about a little 1K pump here or so, from about 43.7 to about 44.5. So just under a 1K little move out there. Now we have a little bit more price action where we're kind of forming this new ascending triangle, a slightly larger formation here on this 1 hour time frame. And this has technical targets to the upside and the downside, both that I've provided for y'all on Twitter. But you can take your high point of your triangle to your low point of your triangle. You can move it up here, and you would have a technical target to the upside here, and you can do the same thing to the downside. And it kind of depends on where you would break to the downside, right? Because you have a moving line here, right? So if it falls out here, then we have a technical target to there. If it breaks out here, then we have a slightly lower technical target. So that's all tradable, right? You can watch for a breakout here. We want to break, hold that level as a back test, and you'd be good for higher continuation up. Same thing on the downside, right? Where you'd want that break, you back test that level as resistance, and then you're good for a continuation down. You can see we had one deviation here that we talked about with that max pain scenario that I updated on Twitter, where we had this last leg up here that kind of got rid of shorts and longs here and came back down. So you kind of had that deviation from this pattern here. But that's something similar that you would want to see, right? If we start to break out this pattern here, you want something like this where you come up and you have price action come up here and you hold that line of support. And that's where you be good as continuation, where you can see here we came up, had a candle, and then we just had a big red candle come down. There was never really a test as support here, right, to hold it for continuation. So that's something you could see. What we've been talking about is further downside, though, right, where we have a scenario here where I think that downside is needed. I'm not saying it will happen or it has to happen, but I think it's needed to solidify this area as support before we come up here and start tackling 48, 49, and 50K up here. I think we need to solidify these lower areas as support, because what we could get into is that we're so overextended already, where we've moved from 36K to 46K essentially, $10,000 in a matter of 4 days or so, that we've gotten pretty overextended here without any type of back test as support, where we just blown through these resistance levels, right, without ever kind of coming back and holding these levels of support, solidifying those levels where we have a good foundation here, and we are good for continuation higher. So I would like to see these levels go ahead and be tested. Now, does that has to happen? Is it will happen? Not saying it will, but I would like to see it happen, because what we could get into is where if we come up here and we start tackling these higher levels without having a good foundation down here support, we could end up getting these big, we have these big green candles here. We could get the same red candles back down here without a good foundation of support. So that's why I would like to see these levels just go ahead while we're down here, just go ahead and solidify this as support. And that way we can move up higher, right? And we're kind of running into a similar situation on total market cap, where now we have this uptrend pattern here created, right? Where we had our resistance box here that we respected really well, right? This is a box that when we were coming up here, when we finally broke out of resistance here, I provided this resistance box, this new pocket right here, resistance, and we respected it really well. Where we came up, resistance, resistance, support, resistance, resistance, support, and we finally broke out of it. And now we're kind of creating this new uptrend pattern here, where we have, this new uptrend, where we're utilizing this level of support as we kind of climb up the stairs here, running into resistance on a macro level here, running into resistance at the 2 trillion market cap level. And now we're kind of creating that same ascending triangle type pattern here. Do y'all see that? Where we have our upper line here, And then we have our new line down here. Do y'all see that? Where we kind of have that same ascending triangle, the pattern that we have on Bitcoin, okay? So what you would want to see here is to come up in the same exact thing, right? You'd want to see this level broken, held as support, and that's where we could see ourselves good for continuation there. Now, what you don't want to see here is if, we start kind of, utilizing this level as resistance, we fall out of this uptrend pattern represented by this white dotted line, back test that level as resistance. That's where we're going to see ourselves coming back down, trying to hold this level of support. And if that were to not hold a support, if we see price action come down here and start back testing that level as resistance, that's where we're going to come back and test that resistance pocket down here at approximately 1.882 trillion. And that would probably be in confluence with Bitcoin coming down back here and likely testing the red line. Okay, one thing that we do have good on Bitcoin right now is that on that macro view, so if we back it out to the 1-day chart here, I know it's kind of jumbled with all these price action lines, but I want y'all to have all these levels as support and resistance levels that we've been trading really well. But on that macro view, right, what we're looking for in our ABC correction that we're in our A, B, and C wave correction down, where we potentially found a C wave bottom here. And on that macro view, what we want to see is price action get back above the A wave low, hold that level as key support, and we're good for continuation in the market. And that is the one good factor that we have here, of a few different factors. But we have come up above the A wave low here, represented by this large white dashed line here. Okay, we've come up, we've broken it once and held it. Now we've come up, broken out of our channel line, and are now still above that A wave low kit. Okay, so on a macro view, we're still holding the A wave low as a support level right now. So that is a good factor that would be a case for further upside, that we are holding the A wave low. But again, we haven't come down here and solidified these levels as support down here. And even the A wave low, we had one small movement, right, on this 2-hour time frame, where we had, essentially 8 hours of price action or so here of, a back test of support before coming up higher. And now we haven't come back and tested it, again. So I would really like to see, again, this levels test support. It doesn't have to happen, but I would really like to see it here, guys. But we do have technical targets that I mentioned for this small lower time frame pattern here on the 1-hour chart. I tagged those for y'all. They're also on the Twitter. They're tagged in pictures posted on Twitter. So if you enjoyed the video today, guys, go ahead and like it. Please subscribe, share. If you have any comments, throw them down in the questions, guys. Thanks for watching.